And as always, we appreciate the time of Alabama head football coach Nick Saban joining us for a few moments before camp gets started on Thursday. Welcome in, Coach. Hope you're doing well today.
Doing well, thank you. Hope you guys are as well.
We're doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. I know for a lot of fans, that Friday before the season starts probably feels like Christmas Eve to them. As a coach, is it more the day before camp starts? Will tomorrow feel like Christmas Eve, or is it before the season for you?
Well, I think it just kind of, you got to take it one day at a time, one play at a time. So, we're anxious to get started with our players. We're excited about the challenges of the season. But, I'd hate to think about what's going to happen in the first game on Friday before the game without having camp. So I guess camp is the most, thing that I look forward to.
I know you like to go to the lake, decompress a little bit in the off season, but it seems like you can't put more hours in the day. But with transfer portal and NIL, is it more difficult to relax and get away?
I think with the whole change in the recruiting calendar, it's changed the dynamics of the summer, pretty dramatically. June, for example, I think we worked every day in June. Official visits on the weekends, camp during the week, working with your team as much as you can. And then July, you try to go on vacation, but you still got to be very focused on, what you're doing in recruiting because more and more players are making early decisions. I spent less time on vacation this year probably than ever because of, other things that are happening. But it is what it is. You have to adapt to it. And, I still had an enjoyable summer.
Alabama coach Nick Saban with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Obviously, fans are very excited about some of the new faces they'll see. Jahmyr Gibbs, Eli Ricks, a couple of receivers coming in. And you've had success with blending guys in from the transfer portal that maybe some others haven't had. What do you think has been a key or two to those guys coming from a different program, but Jamison Williams seemed to be one of the most popular players among his teammates last year. What has been the key to that for you think?
I think that our players do a really good job here of, embracing new players in the program. I think it starts with the fact that we've had a lot of freshmen that come in and play as freshmen and make a contribution to the team in a very positive way. So I think the culture here is to kind of embrace new players. We all want to win. If those guys can contribute to that and develop the kind of standard of excellence that we try to operate around here, I think, our players are very accommodating. So I think that is very helpful to those guys feeling comfortable and making a contribution.
I read something the other day. I don't know if it's true or not, and I can't believe I've never heard it if it is true, but were you and Bob Stoops in a bar in Youngstown and somebody came in with a shotgun and robbed the place?
Yeah, that's true. It's a long time ago, but it's true.
That is amazing. Do you remember the details at all?
Well, there's not a lot of details. We were talking football. The guy came in and robbed the place with a shotgun. Police came about 20 minutes later, and the bartender just told the police, "Don't ask these two guys. They didn't even know it happened." So that was it.
That's
we were focused.
Yeah, it's focus.
Yeah, I would say that is focus. Your quarterback, Bryce Young, joined us over in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, and we were all struck. It was our first time with him one-on-one. We were all struck at his level of maturity and calm. And I know you've had a lot of players, Coach, and you're not real fond of comparing players, but of all the guys you have, does he have one of the best skill sets when it comes to, I guess, personality sets, really, when it comes to his maturity level, his calm nature, his demeanor? It just seems like he's a perfectly made guy to play quarterback in stressful situations.
I think that's true. One of the things that we admire about Bryce is that he is very bright. He does a great job of preparing. He's always on top of exactly what we want to do, how we want to execute it. And the thing that we've tried to emphasize with him, because he does have a calm demeanor, is, your presence is important to the rest of the players. So he's made, huge strides in affecting other people on offense in a positive way. Quarterback's a hard position to play if the people around you don't play well. So I think that's something that has actually helped him in, continue to grow and develop as a player at his position. And he obviously played it very well last year, and we're hopeful that we can help him do the same thing this year.
We had an NFL scout on the show yesterday, and he compared Bryce Young to leaving Aaron Rodgers in the dryer a little too long. That's quite the compliment. I mean, he said the skill set reminds him of Aaron Rodgers. Again, I know you don't like comparing players, but that's a high compliment for your quarterback.
I think so, because Aaron Rodgers is obviously a fantastic player, and he's been that way for a long, long time. And I think that's the key to being successful is, how guys can deal with success, how they can continue to, stay focused and not get sort of satisfied and, sort of have a relentless, competitive attitude about continuing to grow and develop at the position. I think both these guys have demonstrated that. I know Aaron Rodgers has, and so far in the program here, Bryce has done the same thing.
Can't imagine how many hours of film you actually watch. Are you surprised when you hear stories that Kyler Murray is going to make $30 million and in his contract he's got to watch film for 4 hours a week?
I'm not surprised by anything. I know he's a great player. We played against him a few years ago in the playoffs, and if that's what it takes for him to prepare for a game, I think the people that he is actually playing with probably can make a good determination of that.
Did you get to play a golf course this summer that you have never played before? Were you able to add a new course to the list?
I played Marion and Pine Valley, and those are both very, very difficult courses, especially when you haven't played them before. But it was a great experience. We had a lot of fun and didn't play great, but it was a lot of fun.
There's nowhere to miss at Pine Valley, is there? I mean, it's fairway into absolute jungle at that place.
Yeah, you're in the fairway, you're in sand, or you're in the jungle. I think you left the sand out, but
yeah.
So there's a lot of sand there.
Yeah, I tried to avoid that. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I know you're a big movie guy. Do you remember the first movie you ever went to in a theater?
I remember the first date I had with Miss Terry was to see Gone with the Wind in the Lee Theater. We only had 2 theaters where I grew up, so I had the same movie for about 2 or 3 weeks, so you didn't have a lot of options, but I remember that one.
And they had the intermission in that one, didn't they?
I don't remember that
part. Was that pre or post Mickey Schaefer? Is Mickey Schaefer a real guy? You've told that story before. Is that a real person?
He is a real guy and a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, another weird thing that I came across, did you guys actually buy a piano, and instead of going the cheap version, you actually financed a piano for a couple of years? And if so, who plays piano?
Miss Terry plays piano. She always had a piano. So the first thing we bought 50 years ago when we first got married was a piano. And I can remember that it was $68 a month for 3 years. That's how we financed the piano. So those were the good old days.
Yeah, they were. I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you get ready to sell a piano, you absolutely cannot do it. You have to give those things away. I've tried to sell one, Coach. You cannot sell a piano.
Well, we got a piano in every house, and Miss Terry will not let that first piano go, so it's still in our house here in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, those are a pain to move, too. All right, before Coach Nick Saban leaves, he has promised this time, Coach, it will not be a hypothetical. Rockstar, your question for Coach Saban.
Well, hey, Coach, it's Rockstar. I love opening with you. To give you a little bit of backstory on this question, I was 5 or 6 years old, and I snuck down to the family room in the middle of the night to turn on the forbidden channel of MTV, which was Channel 17. I watched a couple of videos, music videos, and one stuck with me. And as embarrassing it is to admit now, it opened my eyes to music, and it was Eddie Money's Walk on Water. I became obsessed with that song till I begged my parents to get me I got the single on cassette tape. I just wore it out. That began my journey to loving music. What artist or song got the ball rolling for you to your music taste now when you were younger, if you understand the question? Mine was Eddie Money, Walk on Water.
One thing about my generation, our generation, the folks that are, sort of my age, is we probably lived through the greatest sort of history of music of any generation. You can start with Elvis Presley when I was 8 or 9 years old, and the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Motown, Michael Jackson, the Eagles, Elton John. I mean, you can just go through the culture of music to where it is right now. And I can't remember exactly what was the first song, but, you know, where I grew up, if you wanted to have any chance of having a date, they pulled the fire trucks out of the fire department on Saturday night, put a record player in there, and you had a dance.
Awesome.
That was a social event of the month. And if you weren't into music and you couldn't dance, you were never going to get a date. So I got with it quick.
It's awesome. And gone with the win.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, before we let you go, Coach, I saw Josh in there with sleeves on. What do you keep the temperature in your office? Is it a set degree all the time?
Because we fight about it every day in the studio.
He wants
every
it really
day.
cold.
I want it really cold.
I'm a 70 guy.
Lance and Dunaway want it hot in here.
It's pretty chilly in here most of the time. I can't speak for Josh. I don't know why he wears long sleeves, but you kind of get used to it. But when we're having camp and you go from this chilly temperature inside to the warm temperature outside, it's quite an adjustment.
I would imagine. Alabama coach Nick Saban, camp begins Thursday. Coach, as always, thank you very much for the time. Great pleasure speaking with you again.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
All right,
Thanks.
You too. Take care. That is Coach Nick Saban with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.